I invented red.
I am red.
Hello users of the internet and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're one of my current 820 subscribers, then welcome back. And if you're not, I probably should be, but I'm not actually bothered by that. If you're watching this video right now, you're probably aware that hit CW show Riverdale recently had a Heathers the Musical themed episode.
What's your damage, Child of the Corn?
And I have a lot of thoughts on this special TV event. I honestly wasn't originally planning to make a video on this, despite the fact that I am an intense Heathers the Musical fan. I didn't want to just rip this musical episode apart for the sake of ripping it apart. Yes, I have seen every episode of Riverdale. Did I think it was going to be good going into it? God, no. But still, I thought that's not my problem. My commenting on it won't change anything. But then I saw the episode, and I just had so many thoughts that I couldn't, for the sake of my mental health, keep them to myself. If you haven't yet seen the episode and don't want spoilers, then obviously don't watch this video, because I'm about to systematically go through in order every single song, every single reference, every single piece of stunning choreography that really got me going. The episode began with the opening number, Beautiful, and honestly, not gonna lie, I'm not even that mad about this rendition. Casey Cott, aka Kevin, started us off.
We were so tiny, happy and shiny.
The only Riverdale cast member who can actually sing.
I literally could have just left that statement there and it still would have been correct, but I was feeling generous, so.
In a musical theatre style. And while he's great and I love his voice, it was already some unnecessary auto-tune. I think the sound editors and sound mixers should have just let him be, been like, Casey, you take over. Record it on your iPhone and send it in, that's all we need. Yes, the entire number was cringy, but Riverdale is cringy. It's teen trash and that's why we love it. So I honestly think it kind of worked well. The transition to the hallway, Cheryl and Betty and Veronica as the Heathers turning around. I felt like that's the best possible way they could have integrated this song into the show. So we found out that Cheryl was Heather Chandler, and when I heard about this casting choice, I was a bit worried because her singing in the Carrie the Musical episode was an auto-tuned horrific mess. And was her singing still bad and heavily edited? Yes, but it was significantly better. So yay, we love improvement. Good for you, queen. Also at one point, Jughead got a line.
Just not today.
And I was shook. Cole Sprouse always swore that post his Disney days, he would never sing again.
Feel the breeze caress us as I gaze into your eyes.
But lo and behold, he got a line. And was it good? No, but I was excited. My little Disney heart was thriving. What did bother me about this number, and actually about every single musical number in this episode, is the fact that they had a whole ensemble, which they really did not use to the fullest extent. Everyone just sang very loudly and aggressively in unison.
Why did I hit him? Why do I cry myself?
Why? Vocal coaches everywhere are asking the same question. We then got to the auditorium and Cheryl got to have her take on the iconic Heather Chandler line.
Fuck me gently with the chainsaw.
Fuck me gently with a chainsaw.
And what did she say instead?
Does anyone have a chainsaw? Because what the?
Like, I understand that it's the CW, I understand censorship, I get it. But if you can't say it right, don't say it at all. That kind of cringy appropriation is everything that people criticize Riverdale for. The next song on the episode, still going in the same order as the musical, was Candy Store, and it was awful. The main reason, apart from some more loud, in unison singing and lack of harmonies, was the fact that they changed so many of the lyrics.
If you like the juice, go play duck, duck, goose.
Again, I understand that censorship's a thing. I get that also it's a high school musical, so they've made a high school version of it. But a lot of the lyric changes were completely unnecessary. A lot of the original lyrics aren't that inappropriate and would definitely pass under the CW guidelines, so I don't understand why they changed every second line. You've just got to prove you're not a doorknob? Like, why? I didn't know whether to cringe or laugh or cry or kill myself. It was like a sick combination of all of the above. Also, as you're watching this episode, take a shot every time a character says big fun.
Farm's producing, and I'm co-directing the musical for one simple reason. To have big fun.
Which brings us to our next song, Big Fun, which is perhaps my least favorite song in the episode, but there are a lot of contenders. It's a tough competition. The girl who plays Evelyn is awful. Like, she's so bad. Auto-tune could not save her. There is a point in the song where the girl who plays Evelyn sings with Casey Cott.
Dreams are coming true.
When people laugh, but not at you.
And this just highlights that she should never open her mouth again. And again, every second lyric was changed. And again, they are the worst lyrics I've ever heard in my life.
This night's all a blur. How did I get so popular?
Half of them were wholly unnecessary and censoring nothing. I just don't get why you wouldn't use as much of the original source material as you can. If they're gonna change this many of the lyrics, why don't they just do original songs? At one point, Reggie in character does say, "Veronica, you're looking good tonight," to Veronica, and I appreciated that. I thought that that would be a missed opportunity if he had it. But then she sings the next lines like, "Wow, a hot guy smiled at me
Without a trace of mockery.
and I'm like, Veronica, you guys have literally been having sex for like half this season, but okay. There was also just like a weird thing that happened with the timing in the middle. And then at the end, Evelyn offers Kevin a brownie filled with mushrooms, because apparently Kevin tripping on mushrooms is okay, but all of the original lyrics are too risque. There's an incredibly unnecessary and way too angsty post-party scene where everyone debriefs about how they're feeling and Jughead's just like in the background eating chips.
I just found out that my parents are separating.
And honestly, that's my constant mood throughout this episode. At one point in the bathroom, Cheryl turns around and does her take on what's your damage.
What's your damage, Child of the Corn?
And I think I choked. Again, this is everything that everyone hates about Riverdale's writing team. Stop. This is then followed by her take on another iconic line.
Did you have a lobotomy for breakfast?
Like, that doesn't even make sense. Why change it? Who benefited from that? I know it's not me. I did like that during this scene in the hallway, the soundtrack in the background was from the Heathers movie soundtrack, so brownie points for references. But then that subtle reference was ruined when Cheryl just outright said Westerberg, the school from Heathers.
Go to Centerville High or Westerberg.
And I was like, are we familiar with subtlety? Clearly not. Then we got into Dead Girl Walking.
The demon queen of high school has decreed it.
I mean, first off, why give Tony any lines, let alone one of the biggest numbers in the musical? It goes without saying that the singing was dodged, the singing was rough. There were also weird sound effects whenever she'd flip her hair.
Something help me on the wall.
That made me incredibly uncomfortable. But I have to say, turning Veronica's final night of freedom Dead Girl Walking moment into a revenge bisexual threesome, I didn't even hate. I'm kind of here for it. We love a modern reappropriation. The execution of the song, awful. The concept, I'm not mad. The next song was Our Love Is God in a farm cult setting. And again, I feel like that low-key worked. I mean, I laughed because Our Love Is God in a church is the most literal thing I've ever seen, but it's Riverdale, so it was fitting. I also like the fact that they had the people on the side and the 3D glasses referencing the movies / that little scene in the musical, so props to the costume department. I see what you did there. All of this doesn't change the fact that Evelyn is still a terrible singer.
Our love is God.
The next song was Fight For Me. Again, a very literal interpretation set in a boxing ring. But I do feel like it fit with the context of Josie and Archie's storyline. He was fighting to be in a relationship with her. Cute. By Riverdale standards, I approve. Then the next song, a classic, 17.
Let's be normal.
Betty was alright, she was fine. And then we got to Cole Sprouse.
People hurt us.
I am not even kidding. I don't think a single note was actually in tune. I was doing a lot of reading online and there were a lot of people who were like, wow, Cole Sprouse, what a secret angelic voice.
We'll go camping.
I'm still waiting to hear that, but my 13-year-old Disney self loved it.
Take a deep breath.
I knew that literally the only reason they cast Veronica as Heather McNamara was so that she could sing Lifeboat about her family situation. And while that still doesn't make it a good casting choice, this song was fine. It was pretty solid. They did cut out the best part of the song and also had a lyric change to make it more appropriate to Veronica's life.
I thought I was captain.
Which, given that this song was sung in the context of a musical rehearsal, didn't work and was annoying. Like, can you imagine in the middle of your school musical rehearsal just changing the lyrics because it felt more real to you? Like, sis, just read the libretto and do your job. Now we're finally here, opening night. Betty and Jughead show up covered in dirt after they set fire to Jughead's trailer home, a la the final scene in Heathers. And honestly, I liked that. Though, side note, I'm pretty sure that Betty is a pyromaniac at this point because like 2 episodes ago, she tried to set fire to her childhood home. She needs to calm down. Then, the only part of the actual school musical that we got to see was the final number, which is ridiculous. I sat through all of those lyric changes, all of those out of context songs to see the final production, which solely consisted of 17 reprise. And the thing is, that number wasn't even put on in the context of the show. Jughead, despite not being in the school musical, was on stage singing singing along with his Riverdale school pals. And they were all just standing in a line singing out to the audience. And for some reason, Veronica's lines were shared across the entire cast. At one point, Josie sings the line, "Martha, are you free tonight?"
Martha, are you free tonight?
To literally no one, because they did not cast a Martha. Also, you see Tony on stage dressed as Betty Finn, who's not even in the musical. She's only in the movie. So at this point, every realm in which sense exists has combusted. And to top it all off, the choreography was actually laughably awful. Everyone started doing like weird hand movements and it looked like they were signing. It looked like a production of Death Awakening. No one clapping at first at the end? That's my mood. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Some of my final general thoughts are, throughout the entire episode, the unnecessary lyric changes physically pained me. Lawrence O'Keefe is sitting in a corner, sobbing, and I am right there with him. There was absolutely no sense of plausibility, even within the context of the show. They spent 3 scenes rehearsing the musical, and everyone was apparently off book immediately. All in all, it was a cringy, awful mess, in which the Riverdale cast were able to demonstrate the lack of musical ability they have. But did I hate it? Weirdly, no. Apart from the lyric changes, which actually made me angry, everything else I just found kind of funny. But saying that, should you watch it? I'm gonna go with no. If you're up to date with Riverdale and know nothing about Heathers, then go for it. If you're a massive Heathers the musical fan and have never seen an episode of Riverdale, do not go anywhere near it. You will just be putting yourself through hell for no reason. But will I watch it again? 100%, because we love a good meme. And that's all I have for you. If you agreed with my opinions, then please thumbs up and subscribe. And if you disagree and think that this was an absolute masterpiece, then just do it anyway. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Just 2 single straight dudes doing some theater.
2 bros chilling in the hot tub, 5 feet apart 'cause they're not gay.